Yes, I agree with that too. Now, do you have any understanding of like portals? You know, when someone dies, I believe that doors of portals are opened up. And you were saying something
right
about
where they're
when you had just when you were looking when you were lying down in your second home, you were transfixed on this closet. I remember when I was young and we were living in this home, and I was like drawn to this closet in my room. And in that closet, the door was closed, but I was like compelled to open the door. But something told me, and I believe it was God, that said, don't open the door because there's evil in there. Something was evil in there that was drawing me to it. And later on, I had found out that there was a young boy that had committed suicide in that closet. But something was drawing me into that closet. But I just knew that because God was telling me, don't open it. Don't open it. And to this day, that just still creeps me out when I think about that. But I do believe that there are portals, and I do believe that those things do come and try to suck you in there.
Yeah, it's very interesting that you're saying these things because, I mean, it's very interesting. I had thought, and you know, I've said this, you know, people I'm close to, that, you know, I have wondered before if there was just a portal to hell, that house itself is a portal to hell. I actually wondered that if it was like a gateway in some way, because it was like every part of that house. I do believe that there was way more evil than just the suicide that occurred there. And I'm going to tell you something else I suspected. And the female, a girl that I'm friends with, when I say a girl, she's 42 years old too, 41, 42. She went to grade school with me. Her and her husband helped me do the exorcism on my first property. Very devout Christians. We definitely walk in spiritual gifts. And she said this to me, and when she said it, I thought, I don't know where you got that, because I was already feeling this very strong. But I just have this weird feeling that somebody may have done some kind of seances or, I don't know, some kind of activity at some point in that house that opened doors that way too. I can't prove that. I don't know why I think it. It's like I believe that's something I'm discerning. And then when someone else says that to me, that really makes me think there's, you know, someone that I know walks in spiritual gifts. I think there's probably a very likely chance that did happen as well.
Yes, I agree with you. I confirm what you're saying.
But I will tell you again. You said about the spirit of suicide. In the house I'm in now, I have had some. I don't believe the house I'm in now is haunted. I feel safe here and everything. But I wrote 225th Street. Most of it was written very late at night. And I will tell you that I do believe I was visited while I worked on it sometimes. You would just feel the evil come into the room with you. You could feel it. You know, you discern it.
Yes.
And I did have multiple instances that were paranormal. And one in particular, I've only told a few people about this, but I had an incident towards the end of the summer. And I think it's due in part to I was almost done with the book at that time, and I was definitely moving full speed ahead. And also I had helped someone and helped some people with some problems they were having, and it definitely was very much spiritually, there was a darkness in the situation, spiritually speaking, that we addressed, you know. But so I think it may have been partly due to that. But I remember it was a very early Sunday morning towards the end of August of this year. And I couldn't sleep, and it was like 7 o'clock in the morning, maybe 7:30 in the morning. And I was laying in bed, and I was laying on my stomach, and I felt my bed shake, like one of my cats jumped on the bed, but it shook a little bit more than if one of my cats jumped on the bed. And I looked, and they weren't even in the room with me. And I just thought, that was strange, you know. And I was laying there, and I was laying on my stomach, and I felt something tug on, like straight down on my right hand. And I didn't actually feel anything grip my hand. It was, and again, I believe this was because it was in the spiritual realm. But I felt my right arm get tugged straight down towards the bottom of the bed. And at that point, I had again, I believe this was a vision. I saw in my mind's eye, very clearly, on the bottom of my bed, I saw it looked like a man, and he was sitting on the bottom of the bed staring at me like he was studying me. And he was squatted down, and he had no shirt on and real long black hair. And he had a very long, strange-looking nose. He almost looked like, in the face, he looked like something you would see on Star Trek. It looked like a cross between something you'd see on an old Star Trek episode and an Indian. I mean, it's very strange looking. And I ran across someone not too long after that definitely has dealt with things in the spiritual realm and actually was into some occult practices and realized they were demonic after she was visited by demonic spirits because of that. And this person told me that she was telling me about her experiences with these, the things she was seeing, and she said, and I just told her and a friend, I told them both about this experience, and the other lady says, that's Manitou, and I'm like, what's Manitou? I've never heard of Manitou. She said, well, look it up. What Manitou is actually a spirit of suicide, and that is the name the Indians gave it, and what I suspect was there was something that really did want to stop me, and it was sitting there studying me. Now, when that happened, though, when I had the vision that night, I bound it immediately, and it was like it just disappeared as soon as I did that. But when you mentioned that earlier about, the spirit of suicide, I'll tell you, demons are more, when we say they're deceptive and they lie, there aren't really words to do justice to just how deceptive and how bad they lie. I mean, there is no honesty in them. And they're very sneaky. And that's the thing, and they can manifest however they want. They can manifest as this Manitou thing, whatever it is. They can manifest as a hooded figure that looks like a guy they drove to kill himself. They can manifest all kinds of different ways. But they are very manipulative, and that's the thing. If you live in that environment, and that's the other thing I've told people, when you live in that environment, even if you are a Christian, even if you do know how to fight back, you're going to be affected by the environment because they will, at the very least, they'll try to scare you. But when you come under oppression from them, it's a very difficult thing to deal with. They can affect you emotionally. Just being in that environment is so draining. It drains you emotionally. It drains you spiritually. And, I feel for anybody who finds himself in that kind of a situation because I've been there. And it is like, I don't want to say this term loosely, but it is like hell on earth. I mean, you are in the presence of demons that, and it's a demonic stronghold, So it is a very difficult environment to live in. But I will tell you as well, we did attempt an exorcism on that house. I gathered quite a bit of information. I knew enough to know, there had been a suicide in the house for sure, and that the gentleman had shot himself. I didn't really know where it happened, but I suspected somewhere in the basement. And at that point, I contacted my mom and my sister and my brother-in-law. And I said, hey, are you guys up for an exorcism? Because I said, I know enough now. I said, I think it's time to do this. So they were there instantly. I mean, they pretty much set everything aside and came.